this is your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle, and I don't suck, and neither does the Piffles podcast. But anyone who plays the Riders, they suck. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Let's go, Rider Nation.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah, here we go. It's a feeling now. Get 'em high, get 'em low, 'cause we're dealing now. Everybody's giving it all they got, 'cause we're ready.
Welcome to the Piffles podcast. That's Arcana Kings with Here We Go. And all things considering, I think we're in really good moods tonight because things have gone off the rails. This is take 4 of Piffles podcast episode 241. I think we have it figured out now. This is your Saskatchewan Roughriders fan podcast. As always, you got Alex here.
I'm Steve.
And in the infamous words of my personal hero, Herschel Kristofsky, what the hell was that?
Yeah. We'll pull back the curtains here a little bit. This is our 4th try at doing this. The recording, it shows up there 12 minutes and 40 seconds. We're 30 seconds into the show. We've screwed up 3 times.
I've never laughed harder starting a show in my life.
I don't know why it's so funny, but it is.
Because the IT guy is having tech problems.
Not the first time, nor will it be the last time.
No, sir.
No.
All right. Well, give us a follow on X, Twitter, at PifflesPod. I'm at RealAlexD.
I'm at Safamod.
And as always, I do not need nor want your pity follows at Greg on Sports, and that's at Blue Sky now. Apparently, that's at X.
We have that.
Still, I'm not I'm still. I have threads. I'm not on it. Don't even try to find me there. Not there. My Blue Sky has no posts yet, so it's. Yeah.
So it's basically identical to your X in that there's nothing useful on there.
Hey, people come to me for enjoyment.
I mean, laughing at you is enjoyment, yes.
Don't know who, but they do, right?
I know.
Yeah. Well, welcome to everybody listening on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you to everybody watching on YouTube and, of course, on SaskTel Max TV on demand. Piffles podcast is brought to you by Dairy Queen on Elphinstone Street and Sask Drive in Regina. Oh, man. I don't even know where to start. This is going to be... I think there might be some rants this episode. Just a little heads up there.
One or two.
Yeah. Okay. We'll set the over under at 1.5 and we'll see where we go. Let's get to the opening kickoff. So last Friday night, seems like forever ago, as we record this on a Tuesday night following Riders in Ottawa losing 36-28. Really, it was a 36-14 game. Riders dropped their record to 6-8. Should we start with the positives? Do you guys want to go positive first?
And we're done.
Dickie's clapping. Like he's in like full clap mode.
No. Oh, I will get into his clapping very, very shortly. I do want to start with the.
He's in playoff clap mode right now. He is the championship of clapping.
I want to start with the positives, and the game started out very positively. The Riders were able to move the ball. I wanted to see Kean Schaefer-Baker being a focal point of this offense. Since he came back from injury, we haven't really seen a lot of him. He's just been used as like the 4th receiver. I wanted to see a little bit more now that he's healthy, get him involved in the offense a little bit more, make it a little bit more dangerous. They did that in the first drive. A few passes went to him. He got the touchdown. And I was thinking, yes, okay, here we go. This is going to start opening up things for, Tevin Jones, Sean Bain, who's been kind of missing a little bit over the last couple weeks, Sam Emilus as well. And I thought we were on to really good things. Sam Emilus had nice touchdown catch, being wide open as well, too. So the offense, at least to start that game, I thought was in a good place in the first quarter, even in a little bit in the second quarter as well. So to me, that's a positive about this game was the offense to start. Greg, I know you can't wait to talk about the offense in the second half anyway. We'll get to that in a minute, but what did you guys see for, at least let's start in the first half with some positives.
Frankie
Christian
Hickson.
Albright. Yeah, Christian Albright. Like, there were some good individual efforts from guys that weren't expected to be stars, so to speak, or aren't supposed to be focal points. And yeah, Hickson took advantage of his time when Morrow was out. Christian Albright was obviously playing for a spot next year, because once they're healthy again, it's safe to say he's just going to go back in that rotation.
He's
So
playing for a spot this week.
well,
And I think he played him onto the roster again.
Like, it's great to see there's guys that still have the fire, that still want to play. I'm just we'll get to it. Go ahead, Steve. Before I do start ranting.
You got to start and end with Frankie Hickson. He took his opportunity, and I hate to say it, but he ran with it. You know, he actually was getting positive yards right off the bat, and then in typical Ryder offensive coordinator fashion, we completely ignored the run for the rest of the game. I think he had like 3 carries in the second half. So first half positives, Frankie Hickson. Second half positives or negatives, not using Frankie Hickson. I don't get it.
There was pockets of Ryder fans like stating that he got benched, and I'm trying to figure out why, if he did. Like, it made no sense.
If he missed a block somewhere, blitz pickup or something, I don't know, but he was the best part of that offense. And Jamal Morrow for the last 8 games has been pretty much invisible. I don't know why you would stop with what's working. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. We saw it from Jason Moss last year. We ranted and raved about it on this show. And Kelly Jeffrey's just falling into the same trap. I don't know what is going on, but is it like, are they out coaching themselves, thinking that, okay, they think we're going to run, so let's not run and we'll catch them off guard. And then that just doesn't work. Like, it feels that way to me anyway.
The way this season is going, the only people that the Riders coaching staff is out coaching is themselves. There is no other way. There's no other way to look at it. How do you constantly avoid, and I realize our positives has already ended for the first half, but you know, that's all there was. How do you constantly do this to yourself and turn your team into a complete one-dimensional offense, especially when you're rolling out a rookie quarterback?
But
this is still Dolagala's fifth start coming up. You still want to give him that run game to get him time, to let him get his feet wet. And when they were using it, the offense was moving the ball.
And even if Hickson did miss a block, that doesn't stop them from rolling out Johnson every friggin' game. Like, come on. Like, that changed the entire scheme that they were going. Like, that changed their rhythm. And I'm already getting into my play calling rant. Ottawa gets a quick touchdown on you. And what would be a good time to slow down the clock, run the ball, get to half. All you need to do is get to half. You're going to go in with the lead and just calm everything down. And they're up there throwing the ball. Why? Run the ball, run the clock out. It made and then the game flipped. The momentum just completely flipped.
I completely understand throwing the ball if you start at, the 45, 50 yard line, and you can use those 30, 40 seconds to get into field goal range or to get into some point range. But we were starting deeper in our end. Take the lead into half. That doesn't happen often enough here. Enjoy it when you can. Well, we know this team has no ability to make second half adjustments. We can't afford to go into the locker room losing. That is never going to work.
And it's funny because in the first 4-5 games of the season, I think all of us did, me especially, commended the coaching staff and Craig Dickinson for being aggressive. And now we're saying you should have been passive here. I think that's kind of funny. But it was all about picking and choosing when you're going to be aggressive. So Yeah, at that point of the game,
To be
just getting
fair,
to the half.
to be fair though, we also criticized him for being aggressive when he didn't need to be. Like you need to ride the momentum with your team, and at that point, Ottawa had the momentum. You needed to smother it, and the best way to do that is to run the clock, to slow it down, and coming up throwing, especially in that situation, made no sense.
Everything about that last minute of the half made absolutely no sense. And it was one of those situations where things just went from bad to worse to worse to worse, and everything went one after the other. I don't think I've ever seen a team fall apart like that in 30 seconds.
I didn't even know that they gave up the field goal at the end until the beginning of the third quarter, because after that interception and touchdown that Ottawa got, I took my dogs outside. I was like, okay, they're got to be just getting the ball back with 20 seconds left and just kneeling the ball. They're going to the locker room. And I came back and all of a sudden, wait, that wasn't the score. And I had to look up what happened and I saw, oh, they what? Gave up another field goal. Okay, cool. Awesome. That's great. They completely collapsed and this is going to be the game pretty much. And I think a lot of Rider Nation just felt that final minute of the first half that was an entire microcosm of the game, that they let it slip away and then it just got off the rails. And turns out that's exactly what happened in the third and fourth quarter until their valiant late effort to try and get back in that game, try and get 3 scores, which, I mean, as much as Glenn Suter will tell you, you'll get 3 possessions in the final 3 minutes of the game, that it wasn't going to happen. But a positive, Mario Alford getting that long punt return touchdown. That was great to see because I know he's been close and he's been kind of in a lull. Other than that Calgary game earlier in the year where he had 2 return touchdowns, we haven't seen much else of him kind of since then. A couple decent runs here or there, but nothing major, and he got that. So that was nice to see him get back there. Hopefully that the special teams unit can build off that anyway, and we can see more chunk returns from Mario Alford Jr. coming up.
Honestly, he's been lighting it up for the last few weeks. There's been a lot of kickers that have saved points for the opposition because he has been inches away from breaking them. And you knew one was coming. And that's probably the best time for him to get one, was right then. It gave the team some hope going into next week, because that last 2 minutes was the only thing that saved most of Rider Nation from completely jumping off the edge.
The thing about Mario Alfred in this, and in general this team, is, like, as a Rider fan, too many times we have come to games where the Riders just get us to that point where, you just want to believe that they're going to do it. And that's exactly what this was. Like, they had from about 5 minutes left in the first half to the last 2 minutes, they had no reason to be in that game. They just could not even tie their cleats. That's how bad it was. But Dickey there the entire time. But anyways, I digress. And this is one of the reasons why, and I know there's a bunch of people calling for O'Day's head along with Dickey's head, but when O'Day went out and got Alfred Jr. because he knew he needed a playmaker like this. And this is why he is the best return man in the league, best special teams player, not an all-star, but the best special teams player in this league.
Maybe this year he'll be an all-star.
It's just, this team finds new and creative ways to mess with your brain. Like, part of me, like, I unfortunately I didn't see it other than the highlights after the game. I never saw down this game, but also I never saw down this game, which means I had to listen to it on the radio, and everyone knows what I think about that.
See, that's what you got to do, like I did, and use Sirius XM. I got to listen to AJ Jakubek. He's absolutely delightful as the Ottawa play-by-play guy. Top great 3 dude in the league, in my opinion. Fantastic pairing, those two.
Yeah, some people paint pictures and other guys use finger paints, but I digress. This team, this play calling, this coaching staff's got to go. I'm sorry. I'm fully on board now.
You weren't before?
I don't know what to do.
Okay.
I wasn't.
Well,
I thought there were some guys there that you could salvage. Maybe a new regime will keep a guy like Naaman around because he's a young coach that can learn. I just don't know how you just don't start over, burn it down.
okay, well, let's talk about that then. We're going to touch on it this week and maybe get into it later because we know nothing's going to change right now. It's not going to. It's too late in the year. I disagree with that. I say, what the hell, make a change? Why not? It can't get any worse. And this goes to Greg talking about Dickey clapping here all the time. That first Ottawa touchdown drive, 6 penalties against the Riders on that drive. The Riders gave them the touchdown. They showed Dickinson on the sidelines clapping, saying, okay, come on, guys, let's go. Yep. You're clapping. That's your response to the team being so undisciplined. You're clapping. Derek Moncrief was awful. He should have been benched in that game. He should have been pulled off, grabbed by the ear, and screamed at like he's a child. Like, that's what should have happened. Belton Johnson tells the story about how his mom dragged him by the ear to Ole Miss so he wouldn't miss he wouldn't get kicked off the team. That's what should have happened in reverse to Derek Moncrief. He should have been grabbed and taken to the sideline and said, sit your, you know what, on the bench because you hurt this team. But there is no discipline from this coaching staff. Players know they can get away with doing stuff like that. Nick Marshall's been getting a lot of undisciplined penalties lately. They're not going to bench him. The players know this. So there's no leadership whatsoever, and there's no backbone by this coaching staff to do something about it. So it's to the point where it's where the inmates are running the asylum, and it's out of control. It got out of control last year, and we're seeing the exact same things happen this year. Craig Dickinson can lie to the media all he wants and say that this is a better team and that I'm a better coach. BS. This is the exact same thing we saw last year. And you're not giving anybody faith. I can deal with the team being 6-8 or 6-12 or whatever their record's going to be this year. If you see progression, if you see growth from them, that's fine to me. It's like I said about the O-line. I don't mind the growing pains as long as we see some growth. This team has somehow gotten worse. And that has to land with the coaching staff. And that has to land with Jeremy O'Day as well. I think Jeremy O'Day has actually brought in a lot of really good talent. I think when the injuries aren't killing this team, especially in the secondary, they have some really good guys. They have some really good players you can build around. Obviously, there are tweaks that can be made, which you're going to find with any team. But to just stick with the coaching staff right now, they all need to go. Every single one of them. There is no reason one of those coaches should be back next year at all. I'm not including Naaman Roosevelt in that one just because he's brand new, kind of like an assistant to the coaches kind of thing. He's just getting his career started. I don't mind keeping someone like that around that just knows Rider Nation and what the culture should be, I guess. But there is no culture with this team right now. There's no identity. They don't know who they are. And that starts at the top and works its way down. And I'm just so... You're clapping when you're giving up penalties. You're clapping. That bugged me so much, you guys. And I'm not going to get on the whole fire Dickinson trade because I was on there. Everybody got mad at me for it. And now everybody's on board. But it's just, I want to see something. I want to see some sort of growth. I want to see some aha moment where all of a sudden this team does good and they figure something out, whether it's discipline wise, whether it's whatever, whether it's making halftime adjustments, which this team has no idea what to do. There's none on offense. There's absolutely none on defense. And you see the defense giving up another 200 plus yards rushing. I used to think Jason Shivers should be the guy to lead this team if they got rid of Dickinson. Nope. I sure don't want that anymore. Jason Shivers has the worst defense in this league right now. And it's not even close.
What's
the offense is
scary?
the second worst scoring offense, and I don't even have a problem with their offense right now. They're actually better with Jake Dolegala than they are with Trevor Harris.
Small sample size.
They both have about 4 games, and Dolegala scored about 6 points more a game. So when you're scoring a touchdown more, I mean, that's good, but the defense has gotten progressively worse. And you can blame injuries all you want. I don't buy that. I think there's enough talent there. Yes, they are missing some guys for sure, but there's enough talent there where they shouldn't be giving up 36 points a game. That's unbelievable.
But here's my problem. It's not even the discipline. Like, yeah, the penalties are dumb, and yeah, Moncrief should have sat his butt on the bench after getting 2 penalties that one drive. It is the lack of effort. That last home game, watching Nick Marshall just kind of go, oh, my guy beat me, and just like whatever, and just watch the other guys tackle. Like, that is worse than making a stupid penalty, in my mind, because that just shows you're not even trying at that point. You're a professional football player. You are paid to play the game. That sounds familiar. I think I heard that somewhere. Like,
Hello.
you're
Wearing a
paid to play
Jets
the game.
jersey too.
Like it's just blows my mind that we have got guys that are this close to being the next Junior Murtaugh. Like, I don't know what to do. It's like Dickey doesn't inspire. He doesn't cause fear. What does he do?
I said this last week when we were recording, and it's the same problem week after week, hell, season after season at this point. But when you look at last season when Duke was throwing helmets and spitting on guys, you knew from that moment on, players had nothing to fear. When you went through the whole Garrett Marino situation, and basically they did nothing, and Dickinson was, thumbs up in his direction, you knew nothing would happen. At this point, the players know no matter what they do, no matter missed tackle, bad penalty, anything, they're being trotted out there the next play like it didn't happen. They have no concern for their jobs. And in a sport like football, in professional football, if you're not concerned about somebody taking your job, you're not trying hard enough. And we're seeing it. And the fact that it's the same problems week after week is what's frustrating to everybody. I mean, 5 weeks ago, we were talking about this team having a championship quality defense. And all of a sudden, they can't stop the run to save their lives, and their linebacking core is healthy. They just can't hit anybody.
700 plus yards against rushing in the last 3 games. 700 plus. I haven't seen something like that since the Denver Broncos defense. And I say that as a Denver Broncos fan. Like, that's embarrassing, especially in the CFL. You should not be giving up that much rushing.
And against teams are going to run the ball because they can't throw the ball. You know what you have to defend. And they couldn't do it. And that's when you know that the problem isn't necessarily talent on the field. It is coaching, and it is a staff or team mentality before it's anything else. Because these guys could do it 5-6 games ago. The same players in that linebacking core could do it. And all of a sudden, you can't tell me they've forgotten how to tackle. Not that
The more and more I think about it, 2019 was the worst thing that ever happened to this Riders team. They caught lightning in a bottle with Dickey and Cody. They thought they had the next path forward, and it was legit a flash in the pan. Cody wasn't what they thought he was. Dickey wasn't what they thought he was. And we had the most outstanding player, and we were really close to something really good that year. They try to roll it, try to play it back, and it's gotten progressively worse ever since. Cody's gone somewhere else, being Cody. Dickey is still here being Dickey, and we're screwed. Like, this team should have been rebuilt from the ground up. It appears, because it's fool's gold. It looks like it should be good, and it's not.
11 straight losses, as Jamie and I, host of the Green Zone, said, east of Elphinstone.
And for those that don't know, Elphinstone is the street directly beside the stadium. They have not won anything literally east of the stadium.
Yeah. 11 straight games. That's over a season. That's bad. When you have that much talent and with how awful the East has been, there's like, I don't know, like you got to win a couple of those, right? Like just based off pure talent alone, you should be beating Hamilton. You should be beating Ottawa. I mean, yeah, they haven't played over there. That was their first game in Ottawa since 2019, I think it was. But I mean, you should still be winning a game on the road here or there at some point. And
you should beat Ottawa at home. Ottawa's record at home sucks.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say anymore about this. Like, it's Steve said it. It's frustrating because nothing changes and they can talk all they want. I want to see the walk. You got to walk the walk now. Like, it might be too late in the season to change everything, but you're still in complete control of your playoff destiny.
This team is still going to make the playoffs. It's going to take a miracle for them not to make the playoffs. I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm just saying they're making the playoffs.
We said the same thing last year at around this point.
Well, no, for them not to make the playoffs, legit, they have to lose out, and so does Calgary, and they both play each other. So, like, it's ridiculous. Like, it's going to take a lot for them to somehow screw this up bad enough to miss the playoffs. Like, at some point, they're going to trip over and find a win somehow.
Are you new? Are you new to Rider Nation?
Yeah,
I know.
Absurd
is exactly what we're good at.
I
750 yards of rushing against in 3 games.
I understand what this team is. I just also know this team is also enough to just do enough to skate by to give everyone hope that they're going to make a run. The worst thing that can happen to this team, they make the playoffs and squeak out a playoff win. Then how do you clean house?
Yeah, it's pretty tough to do that if you're making it to the West Final.
Picturing an 8-10 win team winning the Grey Cup, and all of a sudden, do you fire Dickinson at that point? Can you fire a Grey Cup winning coach despite him being absolutely atrocious all season long?
Can you? I understand we fired an offensive coordinator for making the West Final, but can we fire a head coach for making the West Final?
I mean, you just don't renew the contract. It depends on who else is available. Unfortunately for everybody that wants changes right now, there's nobody available right now to come in and do it.
Oh, it's too late.
I'm talking about 4 games left. The only option would be Paul Appelese.
The only way they actually fire the head coach for the end of the season is if they do get mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
And that wouldn't happen until the final week anyway, so it's not going to happen.
So, but we're making the playoffs. I don't see. I try to see a way we can miss, and I don't think it's mathematically possible at this point. It's just if they pull off a win, it's going to be. I don't know. I'm not going to cheer against the Riders, but I would prefer not to see this coaching staff back.
One more thing about that game against Ottawa, I just want to make mention of. Brandon Council should have been left in Ottawa. Absolutely awful. I haven't seen an offensive lineman that bad since
last year.
I guess Evan Johnson last year.
It was like 2022 Evan Johnson.
No, I was going to no. Who's worse than him?
Though.
We actually got rid of someone last year because he was that bad.
The right tackle. The right tackle.
Well, they went through like 3 or 4 different right tackles.
Yeah, but right
year.
At the start of the year, the big
he was
dude
really bad.
Everybody was so high on.
Yeah, we got from Ottawa. I can't think of his name now. Oh no, he was really bad, and we blamed him, and then turned out it was also Johnson as well. Who might be our center this week?
He might. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that because there are some injuries to the O line. We're gonna talk about that in the preview against BC. I don't know.
Brendan Labatt's going to be in the stadium next home game. Do you think he's ready to play?
So is Chris Best. Put him out there. Why not? Couldn't get any worse. That's the opening
Ty
kickoff.
Rogers.
There you go. Thank
Yeah,
you, Steve.
Woof. That's the opening kickoff presented by Kathy Festian of Royal LePage Regina Realty. Let's jump to our Churchill Brewing Company odds and end zones. We'll take a look around the CFL. There is some Rider stuff here as well, too. I want to make mention. This is final call for 2023 team signed football raffle going to CFL Fans Fight Cancer.
Is Craig Dickinson's signature on it? Because it might be a collector's item.
Yeah, it's got Craig Dickinson's right on the front there, right beside Kendall Watson, who just signed his initials. Trevor Harris is on there as well too. So I mean, it's the whole team signed it. It's an awesome piece. I love it. I really want to keep it for myself, but I'm not going to. But the CFL Fans Fight Cancer raffle for that. Please find us on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, wherever. Send us a message. It's one ticket for $5, 3 for 10, 10 for 20. Saturday is going to be the last day that we accept entries. And then early next week, we'll do an online draw for this great piece. And there is a second ball, but it is going out to Hamilton for Grey Cup to be raffled off there. So
By
send us a
Carrie
message on that.
Underwood.
Yeah, and you can possibly get Carrie Underwood to sign it as well, too. That's one of the notes that I have on here. Usher was announced as
Usher.
Super Bowl
Yeah.
halftime show. No, that's Lil Jon. Stop that.
Usher's on it.
Yeah.
So is Luda.
All right. That the ludicrous part. There better be a ludicrous cameo at the Super Bowl. That's all I'm saying.
They're doing it. They got to, yeah.
They have to, right?
They have to, yeah.
Isn't it in Vegas this year? Like Lil
Yes, it
Jon
is.
is going to be there for sure.
Oh yeah, it's in Vegas, and Lil Jon's just in Vegas in general. So it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
exactly. But it was announced on Tuesday by the CFL that Carrie Underwood is going to play the Friday night during Grey
Opening.
Cup Festival week in Hamilton. That's a huge get. That's huge. I'm not a big Carrie Underwood fan other than, waiting all day for Sunday night for the Sunday Night Football song. But I realize how huge of a get that is to have performed during that weekend.
It doesn't hurt to have a name like Carrie Underwood attached to the CFL.
No, look,
It doesn't in any aspect.
look what's happening in the NFL with Taylor Swift. But that makes me wonder who is going to be the Grey Cup halftime show, because you would think that it's got to be a bigger name than Carrie Underwood, right?
The other half of Florida Georgia Line.
Is he allowed to show up?
That's when they announced this Carrie Underwood thing today. At first, I thought it was the halftime show. I'm like, holy crap! Like, okay,
That's huge.
like,
Yeah.
we're getting the two halftime shows. Holy crap! The CFL's on top of it. And I'm like, oh wait, it's the opening concert of the festival. Okay, that's weird. Like, so either they got a huge name, or maybe she's doing both.
And that was a couple comments that I saw going around today that, okay, well, maybe because she's going to make more money doing the regular show in front of however many people are in that stadium,
ticket
16,000. So your ticket sales are there. You're only going to be performing for 15 minutes at the Grey Cup. You're only making X amount of money doing the Grey Cup. Maybe she's doing both, but maybe they're just going to let the tickets sell first so that they make a bunch of money, and then put her up in Toronto for a couple nights and then bring her back to Hamilton for the Grey Cup on the Sunday and play at halftime.
Come on. Why are you putting down Hamilton in their Holiday Inn?
The other name that
Toronto.
I'm hearing, and it would be a pretty big get from the CFL if they do, and this is only because he's touring in the area Grey Cup weekend, is Bruce Springsteen. He's in Montreal and Ottawa.
He's 75 years old. He's playing 3 shows in 4 days around Grey Cup. He's not playing 4 and 4. There's no way. I cannot see it happening.
If they're going for a bigger name than Carrie Underwood, there are not a lot of bigger names.
Don't get me wrong.
Celebrity wise,
I love the boss. There's no way in hell the CFL can pull that off.
That'd
There's
be
not a
awesome,
way.
though.
It'd be awesome.
I don't know. We probably would have said the same thing about Keith Urban before he showed up.
Okay, here's my problem. How the hell do we get half of Fuller Georgia line and they get Carrie Underwood and Bruce Springsteen?
Right?
Just thinking of who it could be if it is going to be a bigger name than Carrie Underwood. I don't know if it's a bigger name. Yeah, Nickelback. Honestly, though, they put on a hell of a live show.
I've seen them.
I know it's cool to
I
hate
know
on them.
It is very cool to hate on them, but they do put on a good show. And actually, I got to admit, I'm getting back into their catalog, and they got some bangers.
Yeah, one of them. Repeated over and over and over again.
Whoa, easy now. They got a lot.
Steve, what's your I'm just curious. What's your thoughts on AC/DC?
I like AC/DC. It's exactly the same though.
Yeah, I was going to say it's the same song over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So
you cannot knock Nickelback's commercialization. They have found a sound and absolutely crushed it. And they do. From everything I've heard, they put on an incredible live show. But you can't tell me that they are a bigger name than Carrie Underwood. I'm sorry. If you want the recognition North America wide, which is what you're going to have to try and do to top Carrie Underwood, it's not Nickelback. And they've done a Grey Cup show in the last, 15 years. Didn't they do BC or was it Alberta?
No, they did BC because my joke when BC versus Winnipeg 2011 Grey Cup, Nickelback was the halftime show, and I said I wanted a Stadium Fire to win.
Sounds about right. And with all their pyro, you had a good shot.
I was in the non-alcoholic section, or the no drinking section in that Grey Cup.
For the record, Carrie Underwood has sold 85 million records. Nickelback has sold 50 million records, but they've won 12 Junos. How many Junos does Carrie Underwood have?
Take that, Carrie Underwood. But that would be a huge get as well, though. So, but that shows me though that they're shooting high here.
Like I said, the fact they got Carrie Underwood, even if it is just for the kickoff concert, huge deal, like very big deal.
Well, they the way that they worded it was she's the headliner of the Friday night. Is there a headliner on the Saturday night too that they're going to announce, and then a Grey Cup halftime show? So maybe there's more to it. I don't know. I hope so, because I think that'd be pretty cool.
I don't know what's happened with Grey Cup over the last few years, but I remember going back a ways where there was a regular concert series with Grey Cup, and that was a big deal. That hasn't been the case for, I don't even know how long. Like, you might see the odd show, but there's no Grey Cup Festival concert series, and I hope this is the start of the CFL bringing that back officially. It doesn't always have to be names like Carrie Underwood. You can have solid talent. You don't need world famous talent to do it, but that was usually a big part of the festival as a whole that kind of died out somewhere along the line.
They tried that a little bit last year. They had a few concerts, like Corey Hart, like they had a concert every night last year. But yeah, it wasn't Carrie Underwood level.
Before we move on, one name that I'm going to throw out there that I'd love to see is a band from Ontario, and they're finishing up their tour in Alberta at the end of October. So November is free for them. Billy Talent. I think that'd be awesome.
I like Billy Talent. I agree.
They wouldn't be a halftime. They'd be like the Saturday night headliner at a concert series. But
maybe the game day opener, the pregame Talent. But if you go from Carrie Underwood on Friday night to Billy Talent at the halftime show, yikes.
But if you go from Carrie Underwood to almost anybody now, though, right? Like, you are kind of running into that same thing.
Honestly, I'd give it back to the Arkells. If you got Carrie Underwood on Friday night, give it back to the Arkells. Everyone in Hamilton will be happy, and it'll be a good show.
I have seen people legitimately call for the Arkells again. And that would be as great as they are.
It was a great show. They put on a great halftime show.
Oh, absolutely.
One of the best halftimes shows they've done in recent memory. Alicia Cara was very good as well, but like you don't see a lot of great CFL halftime shows. Like last year's, I'm sorry, but it was decent enough, but it was still lacking.
All right. Well, we'll find out who that's going to be. Just one more thing, kind of playing off the whole music and football thing. I got to make mention of the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce thing, because I
got to
love
do
it.
this.
I love it. Okay, I think it's great. I know football fans hate it because Taylor Swift is ruining the game by introducing how many more millions of people to football, which is awesome. Travis Kelce's merchandise sales went up 400%.
They're selling.
Like-
Yeah, he's outselling Mahomes now in KC.
Like, how dare a new audience watch our game, right? Like, how dare that happen? And that's how NFL fans are dealing with this whole thing with Taylor Swift. Like, would you not want the biggest star in the world talking about or being engaged with your league? Like, yeah, you want that. Yeah, it's annoying on TV when all you're going to see is Taylor Swift for the next couple months, but that's good for the game. It's great. And
we had a work event on Wednesday night, just after the whole rumor had come out about that, and it was a trivia night. And the one girl in our group started spouting out random Travis Kelce trivia, and I've known her for a while. I had no idea she was a football fan. So I was like, "Oh, who's your team?" She goes, "Taylor Swift." Like, I get it. I understand. There's no such thing as bad eyes to whatever sport you follow.
And
But
if they're
she
going to buy a
suddenly was
jersey
following
too,
along all of the things about the Chiefs and about the team, and I'm like, I get it. I understand. Respect. You can't knock that. That's what you want. Find any way to get people to watch your sport. Doesn't matter if it's Taylor Swift or whatever it is. It was I laughed. It was funny just the way she did it. But
now, Lieutenant Eric of Edmonton Sports Talk, producer of the Nielsen Show. Great Sasky guy, by the way.
Hilltoppers fan too, apparently.
Yeah, put on Twitter. Okay, so we have Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce in the NFL. What is the CFL's relationship version? And I replied to it, having a little bit of fun, of course, saying John Ryan and a punt single, because those two almost seemed inseparable at the end.
They did.
I'm trying to think about it, and I don't know. Greg, do you have a good suggestion at all?
I got one.
For those that are listening only, there's a picture of Chris Strevler and Steve's face photoshopped on Strevler's wife, girlfriend, whatever she is. So Steve and Chris Strevler.
Yeah, I think so.
That's a good relationship. I like that. He's not even going to acknowledge that.
He's not even going to acknowledge.
He's so mad right now.
He's so mad.
But he appreciates.
I can't say anything. I do appreciate it, but I can't say anything because I don't want to give Greg more editing work. So
the best thing is, I'm like, you come in, you're like, you said whatever you want to do in the chat. I'm like, oh, Steve can hear us. Oh, how fast did he jump in here when I was working on that?
Yeah, we were absolutely talking about getting that picture photoshopped.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But no, yeah, like, it's good. Any way you can get eyes on football, and this entire Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce thing, like Monday Night Football. Anyone who watched the NFL, I understand we're a CFL podcast, but like they're joking about DeAndre Swift and Jason Kelce on the Eagles last night as the other Kelce Swift combo. Like it's got legs. It's
fun. It's fun. And
football
that's all
should
that
be
matters.
fun. Football should be fun. Steve, turn that frown upside down. There you go.
Hey, that looks like just the same picture you took with Chris Trevler the other day.
Yep.
Okay, let's jump back here to football. CFL.
You're lucky
football,
this is
Rider
also
football.
a video show now.
Yes.
So I can't flip you off either.
Oh, we can tell that you're doing it. We know you are.
Yeah, we know
All
what's
up
happening.
here.
We know what's happening underneath the camera.
It can stay on TV if it's in my mind.
Stuff out of Rider Nation. We had the announcement a couple weeks ago about some of the players that are going to join for Legends Night, the next home game on October 7th. Corey Sheets, Tyrone Brackenridge, Tristan Jackson, Chris Getzlaff, Neil Hughes were announced. We got another announcement. Brendan Labatt, Mike McCullough, Ricky Foley, and Chris Best are going to join them as well. I'm just wondering if Labatt and Best can just throw some pads on underneath the jersey that they'll wear. And go play O-line for a little bit.
I'm literally scared that there's another announcement coming. I know who I want to be announced, and we all know we want Darian announced.
Yep.
I'm worried that how did I put this the other day? I'm worried Ricky Foley walks so John Chick could run. Like I am scared that I am scared they're going to throw John Chick into just a group announcement.
I mean, nothing would take the heat off of the rest of the playing and the organization quite like that announcement. So I wouldn't quite put it past them, but they're bringing back most of the right guys. There's obviously one clear omission that we knew wasn't happening probably, and if it does, it'll be its own announcement. How great would it be to make that announcement the day before the game? Or don't even announce it and just bring them out at halftime. That stadium would you may blow the roof off of it. What little roof there is.
It's going to depend on ticket sales.
That's the only problem with that is ticket sales. Is if they lose here this week to BC in BC,
when
there isn't going to be much of a walk-up crowd at all. And I mean, it's the long weekend. It's Thanksgiving weekend.
I won't be there.
Game is.
I won't be there for the first time in a long time because I'm going to my parents' house.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to be traveling that weekend, going out to mom and dad's place, to grandpa's place, right? Like that's the reality of it. And if they lose, people are going to lose a lot more interest in the team. And if you're bringing Darian in, you have to announce that right away. Just this is your chance, Rider Nation, to see Darian Durant, like however you want to market that. They got to announce that right away if it's going to happen. But
I feel like if it was going to happen, they would have done that already.
You'd think so.
Or, maybe you wait till after the BC game. You get that down from the loss if it happens, when it happens, whatever you want to say, and then make that announcement, and it might get some of that positivity back as you roll into the playoffs.
But like I said, I think they've been trying to build up. Like I said, there has to be another series coming out because they did the Corey Sheets thing with the interview with Rob Banstone. They did the Labatt, McCullough, Foley, Best thing, did the interview with Labatt. Like, there's got to be another one coming, if not two more coming. So you're hoping, like, who are the other stars on that team that are going to make people want to come out? Like, you're hoping maybe G-Roy, Darian's the obvious one, Dressler. I love me Jock Sanders. Love me Jock Sanders. Like,
scored in the Grey Cup.
Yeah, like Dressler's not on here yet. Like, you have to, like, have they announced? They haven't announced. Oh, yeah, they did announce Getzlaff. Sorry. Like, they have to be building this up. There has to be the main event. And if Darian is not your main event, I don't know who is.
Diamond Ferry.
I actually had someone because I wear 22.
Very good for that team.
He was
very
and
good.
Well, 22 is the number I always wear on my jerseys, and someone thought I had a Diamond Ferry jersey. I'm like, I'm not that big a fan.
If Diamond Ferry shows up, I just want him to do his one interview with Jamie Nye.
That'd be fun.
You don't know the story behind that, Steve?
No.
It was back in 2013. I think it was during that 4-game losing streak they had in the middle of the season where things were looking bleak. And Jamie wanted to talk to Diamond Ferry because I think he had a bad game the week before and he just wanted to talk to him. And Diamond Ferry, after practice, just sprinted out. He went straight to the locker room. He took off. And Jamie went to, I think it was Ryan Pollock was the PR person at the time.
At the time, yep.
And said, well, what the hell? Like, that's who you told me, like, you're going to give me somebody else then instead? And he goes, no, we'll get him. I'll get you somebody else in the meantime. So Jamie goes out in the parking lot and Diamond Ferry comes out of the locker room, and that's right where the parking lot was at Taylor Field, and he's eating a sandwich. And Jamie just sticks the microphone in his face and starts asking him questions. And Diamond Ferry gave him like 2-word answers. And yeah, if you ask Jamie Nye, he is not a fan of Diamond Ferry. So I'd love to see that interview one more time, but only if Diamond's eating that sandwich.
I understand this is a very big inside joke that maybe only like 2 of our 7 listeners will understand. Jamie Nye, bigger fan of Diamond Ferry or Mark Messier as the captain of the Vancouver Canucks?
He does love himself some Mark Messier.
Yeah. All right.
I think I'm going for lunch with him soon. I'll ask him. I'll see who he likes more.
I see him all the time now, so
Yeah.
I see him more than you do.
Okay, well, normally in the odds and end zones here, we look around the CFL. The one place I want to look at around the CFL is the Calgary Stampeders.
Woohoo!
And I said positives this week, guys. Positives. Positive news. The Stamps suck. And how great is it that the Stamps are awful? They're 4-10 right now. And
Like I feel like I'm accepting a award. I want to thank the other Dickinson. I want to thank Huffnagel. I want to thank Jake Mayer. Like, thank you for not being good, because it's been a long time.
There are kids who can drive who have never seen the Calgary Stampeders suck. This is fantastic. I don't care
There are
how
kids that
bad
can
this
drink
week was in
alcohol.
Ottawa.
There's kids pulling
2007.
beer that can do this.
they still made the
2007.
playoffs in 07, though.
They
almost beat
that
the
was
Riders
last
in that
time they were,
semifinal.
It's been almost 2 decades since they haven't made the playoffs.
2000. I think 2004.
Kevin Federick
Well, yeah, 19 years. 19 years.
Yeah.
was the quarterback. What was that? That was when Matt Dunnigan was the coach.
I miss Dunnigan as a coach. It
Well,
was
for the
great.
Stampeders, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If they come calling again, I hope he answers.
But no matter how bad this season has been, this season is a success because the Stampeders suck. I will remember this season fondly, if only for that.
And when was the last time both Alberta teams missed the playoffs? I honestly can't remember.
Oh,
It must have been. It has to be the
Ben?
90s, right?
I am certain the voice of the Riders actually put it out there. Van Stone
it's
said something about
Been
that.
forever, and that's likely going to happen this year. So the good thing for the Riders is that they got their wins early, and wins in the first third of the season mean just as much as they do now in the standings. So getting those wins was huge, and the Stamps find ways to just blow games, and it's great. Like, the Riders won't win the Grey Cup, but I'll take solace in the fact that Calgary was awful and was worse. That makes me happy, guys. Like, I don't know how else to explain it, but that makes me happy.
So great. It is, like I said, it's been almost 20 years. It is hard to explain the feeling that I've got right now.
I'm just in shock, really.
And especially because you know something's going to happen. They're going to get rid of Jake Mayer. They're going to put in some random quarterback, and he's going to be the next future Hall of Famer. And they're going to go on a 20-year generational run like they just had. Like, you know something's going to happen because of course it is.
I know what's going to happen. We're going to stick with Trevor Harris. Jake Dolegala is going to sign in Calgary like Burris did years ago and turn that franchise around.
If you're Jeremy O'Day, or if you're a new general manager for the Riders, what do you do here for 2024? I think you have to find a way to have both Dolegala and Harris.
No, you do. You sign both.
100%.
Well,
Will
Harris is
Dolegala
here.
want to be the backup?
Harris is here. It's Dolegala that's going to be the issue. You got to sign Dolegala to tell me he's going to compete. That's the only way you can do it.
Your best bet with Dolegala is you sign him to a 2 or 3 year deal that has some heavy numbers in that second and third season. And you can guarantee those numbers because he's coming off a rider contract. So you can guarantee some of his salary in years 2 and 3 and say, hey, we're going to go into 2024 with Trevor Harris and you, but you're our guy going forwards. And you give him that number. But then if you're going to do that, just roll with them. So I don't know. I don't know what the right option is.
I don't know. You got to find a way to get both. Because I do think Jake Dolegala is the future of this team. He's been quite impressive, I think. He still needs some coaching. He's still very green, but I think
He
with
needs to
the right
stop
coaching,
eating buttery popcorn right before going out into the huddle because damn.
I mean, having a right tackle that could help block would be nice, but
Whoa, let's not ask for too much.
Easy now. Whoa.
yeah, one step at a time. Put the popcorn down first, then get a right tackle to block. I get it.
Maybe it's corn on the cob. You never know. That stuff gets pretty slippery too.
Is that a Taylor Cornelius comment?
No, that's just.
Okay.
I think one day I talked about Jake Dolegala eating corn on the cob, and old Josh doesn't let me forget about it.
All right. Well, we'll take a look at the game here this week coming up right away. The Regina Thunder are in Saskatoon to face the Hilltops this upcoming Sunday. Both teams coming off big wins.
Hilltops are undefeated. Hilltops are undefeated, and the only loss the Thunder have is against said Hilltops. Banjo Bowl weekend sucked because I expected the Thunder to at least throw a punch, and they came in a little sluggish. I'm hoping. Look, this past Sunday they looked focused. They absolutely took the boots to the Calgary Coats, who beat the Winnipeg Rifles, which usually never happens. So the Colts are a good team this year. So I'm hoping that the game in Saskatoon is going to be a lot better than it was at Mosaic Stadium on Banjo Bowl weekend. So either way, it should be a good game. It's going to be fun.
Oh yeah, anytime these teams get together, it's usually a pretty solid game.
It's a slugfest.
And then next week will be the Thunder season finale, at least regular season home game. We have tickets to that to give away, so keep your eyes and ears peeled for that because we'll give away the tickets next week for that game.
Another game I'm going to have to miss because I'm out of town.
You're just so part-timing it. My goodness.
Blame my parents for moving to Lethbridge.
I will, actually.
I will too. They will hear about it all weekend. I'm missing a
wait.
Rider game and a Thunder game because I love you. That's all they're going to get.
I'm sorry. Are you in Lethbridge for Thanksgiving?
I am.
God damn it. So am I.
Are you in Lethbridge for Thanksgiving?
Oh, I'm staying home.
You guys should do
Yes.
Thanksgiving together.
Not a chance.
Me, Steve, and Chris Trevler are in Lethbridge for Thanksgiving.
Oh my goodness. Could you imagine? I thought he'd drop out there for sure. I thought he was going to leave.
I was
it.
tempted.
Greg and I have a bet on when you're going to drop out, so I was really hoping that was going to be it.
Apparently, we should have done it at the first take.
All right, Riders, Lions this upcoming Friday at 8:30. It all signs point to BC blowing them out. It's another road game for the Riders. The last 4 games on the road, 31-13 loss to Toronto, 41-12 loss in Montreal.
The good news is
51-6
it's west of Elphinstone.
Yeah, 51-6 to Winnipeg, 36-28, really 36-14 to Ottawa. There's no reason why this team should win on the road right now. There's none. They're not giving us any hope to do that. You add in the fact they can't stop the run, and Taekwon Mizell Sr. is having a really good last couple games anyway, running the ball. Had a huge touchdown run, 70-plus yards against Edmonton last week. Is there a chance?
We're into the podcast fantasy playoffs starting next week. I have none of my rosters selected except for Mizell. I know that he's going front and center as my team captain. I mean, when you give up 700 yards against the run over 3 weeks, and this is against a team that can actually, throw the ball, this is going to look like, to me at least, this has all the makings of a repeat of the Banjo Bowl.
Okay, we've already played the Lions twice, and the Riders held them in check. I understand that was very early in the season when this defense was playing very, very good. I took my Zell in those games early in that because the Riders are known not to stop the run. They kept him in check. I am hoping they have not forgotten everything they did for those first two games.
It appears, based on the last month, they have in fact forgotten everything.
This week,
No, go ahead. It doesn't look good for the Riders. That's all I'm saying.
Craig Dickinson this week, they're doing shorter practices this week so they can have more time for film work and get physical rest. I don't buy into that personally. What do you guys think? Is that something that could be used, like as an advantage for the Riders?
I've heard from many guys in the media who've been to mini practices. We were at mini practices in past, 2019 and before. Apparently, Rider practices, even before this, were like nothing anyone's ever seen before. They've always been pretty laid back, which is, I actually heard someone compare it to, call it the snowboarder coaching practices, which, of course, is a semi-shot at Craig Dickinson, who's also a snowboard instructor and used to be a snowboard instructor in the offseason. He might still be. I don't know. These are not your typical football practices. They never have been. I don't know if going less physical for a team that needs to be physical is best. I understand you only have so many padded practices. This just seems like, Penelope. Sorry. I got distracted by a very cute dog.
Yeah, Penelope wanted to come say hi.
The best thing we've seen in Alex's window, I'll show.
Pretty much.
Forever, actually.
Yeah.
I don't understand how turning the burner down is going to help a team that has trouble with being aggressive, being on top of things. This seems going backwards, to be honest.
What they should be doing, I don't know what the football equivalent of a bag skate is, but that's what they need to be doing, because nothing this team has done over the past 3 weeks would make anybody look at that team and go, I think y'all deserve a break. Let's just chill out. Let's watch a movie. We'll just hang out. We don't need to work on, tackling. What they need to do is take that
all this year.
Take that rolling donut, and that's all you do all practice. I don't care if you're offense or defense. Everybody get out there and just hit the damn thing, because you never know who you're going to need to get to make a tackle over the next couple of weeks. Just practice that. Nothing else. Just use the tackling dummies. But to shorten practices and lower the intensity is an absolute joke. Now watch, they'll win, and we'll have to backtrack on this, but just a beyond questionable
I'm sorry.
decision.
I won't. This seems to be going completely backwards. This does not seem to. I don't see anything in any football history that says, you know what teams that are struggling need? Less practice. That just seems completely backwards.
And then you add on the injuries this week. Peter Godber and Philip Blake both missed day one on Monday. Blake was back on day 2 on Tuesday. Godber still out, which had Evan Johnson at center. Bandy and Ferlin were at guard. But Evan Johnson was getting reps there at center just in case. If Godber's out, well, one, I don't know why you would move Ferlin back. He has played so well at tackle. And if you can keep him out there, why wouldn't you? But whatever, I get it. You want to have the strong interior and put out more pylons at tackles. That's what they seem to like doing lately. So whatever. But having Blake back is so big, but losing Godber here is a big one. And if you're gonna roll,
why are you putting Johnson at center?
see,
Bandy was the
I don't know.
Bandy was the backup center.
Yeah,
I don't
Bandy
get
is
it.
the center. In that, like, that's, I don't know. I don't know. I really don't understand that. And
It's
then
baffling.
The
BC's
only way this makes sense to me is if they know Godber.
Goober.
I can't stop calling him Goober every time. Because I saw it once on a depth chart. It's just been Peter Goober ever since. That's what Ferlin calls it at work too. Is Peter Goober
in capital letters? Yes, it does kind of look like Goober.
With the only thing to me is if they know he's gonna play and they don't want to move Bandy out from where he is, and they know he's going. That, to me, that's the only thing, the only way this makes sense is just keeping the rest of the line the same and just running with it. Because Johnson's your sixth guy, so maybe give him a little work at center. He doesn't normally play there at all. So other than that, it's questionable at best. But have we come to expect anything different from this staff?
Good point. Anthony Lanier missed day 1, but he's back day 2 here. Micah Johnson on the D line missed day 2 due to illness. Hopefully it's nothing major, and he does play this game. But to me, the big thing was Jaden Dalkey being back, because
Big Dalkey energy.
Yeah, like the secondary especially has been so soft without him. He plays hard, he plays fast, he's physical, and they need that kind of big Dalkey energy in that secondary right now. And I like the way Jackson Ford's been playing. I think he's going to be a really, really good one for a long time here in the CFL. But just Jaden Dalkey's physicality is something that is needed by this team right now. And that, to me, that's at least on defense, that's the big one.
You're not going to hear me argue with you, because if they can find a way to get Dalkey and Ford back there, not only is that a great ratio coup for the Riders, but that's a lot of energy, because both those guys seem to like to hit anyone that's in their vicinity.
Oh, Ford on specials is a treat to watch.
Dalkey on specials is a treat to watch. Like, they both aren't scared to throw the body, and that's great.
For the
They
good
are
of
the
Rider Nation,
anti-Murtile.
for the good of Rider Nation, I have decided not to put big Dalkey energy on the back of that game-worn 38 jersey, because I want to see him last the rest of the season. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. I will not make that thought. I will not allow that thought to escape my brain again, because the curse is real. I mentioned it, and he's been out, what, 4 weeks? Or was he out 6 weeks? No.
No,
I
it
don't know
hasn't
how
been
long
that
he's
long.
been out.
No, it hasn't been long.
Yeah. Either way, yeah. Let's keep him healthy. We need him on the field, because he gives that extra little bit of fear to anybody going over the middle, because he's going hard.
No,
100%
that was
of the
Labor Day,
time.
wasn't it? Labor Day he went out.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds right. Okay, well, I'm going to be the positive one here, guys, because
No.
anytime that, especially this year, we said this team should get blown out, they play their best game of the year. I think I don't know if Dickinson's an us against the world guy, if that's his rah-rah speech, but for some reason, for some teams that works. I don't get it. That wouldn't motivate me. But all the chips are literally against the Riders this week. Everyone's putting their money on BC, rightfully so. So this is the week to shock them. And I think the Riders actually do it this week. So with that in mind, let's get to our pick'em here. That'll be the second game we
What's
talk
in your
about.
cup there, Alex? A little concerned.
No comment. That'll be the Rider game will be the second one we talk about, because it goes in order. And the first game on the Friday is going to be Toronto at Winnipeg, who everybody wanted.
I just looked at it. Oh my god!
Everybody wanted to see Toronto against Winnipeg, and Chad Kelly against the Bombers. That's not going to happen. Chad Kelly's not going to play. It's going to be Cameron Dukes
Holy crap.
starting, which if I'm Toronto, I'm not playing Chad Kelly this game. No way against that defense. No, not a chance.
Oh, who called them putting Andrew Harris on the 6th game?
Oh, you're going to hit the ding, aren't you?
You know I am. You know I am.
Too late. The moment's
There you
gone.
go. Yeah.
When it takes that long, it just doesn't have the same ring to it.
Open. Sorry, I was opening the spread window.
But Toronto's going to do load management right now. They're going to do the whole Kawhi Leonard thing. They're going to bench guys here and there. I think AJ Ouellette's playing this week. He didn't play last week.
He was on a 1 game last week.
But
Yeah.
they're gonna rotate this just to keep guys fresh, keep guys healthy, and hopefully for them nobody gets injured. And like I said, I wouldn't play Chad Kelly. So if you're gonna rest him here, they're probably gonna play him the next couple games. Maybe rest
Apparently,
him for half
he's,
later.
he's not completely sad. He's going to play a couple of these. Then.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, let's guess the lines here. I'm assuming now
It moved a lot. It moved a lot.
probably with the news of Chad Kelly. I bet. I'm gonna say right now it's probably sitting at Winnipeg like -5.5.
Well, I know it was -3 before for Winnipeg. I'm thinking -7.5. Wait,
Steve
it
got
me?
it. It started at -2.5. It's now -7.5.
Oh yeah, I'll take the Bombers on that. They're a much different team at home.
Give me the spread, the points.
The over under
Everything.
is 50. Over under is 50.5.
I might take
take
the under on that one.
Yeah, I think so.
That's
Toronto's-
a big one. That's where it started, and I think I think the under is a safe play on that.
Yeah.
I've got the Bombers with the spread. They're gonna put their foot down Toronto's throat to prove something against nothing.
And Winnipeg's still playing for first place, right? So they're going to come out with that extra, and coming off a bye week, and Zach Claros after a bye week is pretty dominant. So yeah, they'll be ready in Winnipeg.
And they have to think their opponent the team they're battling for first is likely going to win, so they need to win to keep pace.
Yeah.
And just a heads up, the next 3 lines have only moved half a point.
Oh, okay. So the second one, the Rider game, Riders at BC, and BC is going to be favored. My guess is probably 8.5.
No, 9.5.
Start at 9.5. It's now 10.
Wow. I'll let you guys go. What do you guys think?
I don't have your hope. I don't think BC is going to cover. I think the Riders are actually going to show up, but I think BC is going to win. I think the Riders cover that 10 points. The over-under is 47.5, as actually 47.5 is the rest of the over-unders, too, by the way.
The defense has been embarrassed the last 3 weeks. If they don't show up in this game, if they can't get going this one, then it's over for them. This is the must show up. They don't have to win, but they have to look competitive. They have to be able to look like they might be able to stop the run better than a wall of paper mache. But I have BC and the spread. I just don't see them keeping it close. Nothing the team has shown me lately would lead me to believe otherwise. If Ottawa can beat that spread or come close to it.
Both
And so
games,
does
though,
BC.
both games against the Lions, the Riders held in tight. I want to say they can. I want to say they can do it, but it's been a weird. We played them early in the season, and now we were playing them late. I don't know.
I mean,
I think 10 points is a lot in the CFL. I understand the Riders' defense has let up a lot, but I think they'll stay tight. But then again, it's a late game in BC, and those games have never been good for the Riders.
we were down by 21 to Ottawa with 2 minutes left. 10 points is not a big spread in the CFL. And I realized we kept them close for 2 games. That offense in BC will let go at some point, and I think this is the game they do it. They've held them in check well. I just think this is the one they finally explode on us.
And BC is getting Dominic Rhymes back for this one too, so that's super sweet. There is absolutely no reason for the Riders to win this game. When you look at the last 3 games and just how things have trended, there's absolutely no reason to believe that the Riders are going to win this. And every time I say that the Riders are going to get blown out, they play the best game all season long. So
The
The
last time
Riders-
the Riders played the BC Lions, you said they were going to get blown out.
the
They
Riders are
won.
going to get blown out. So take that for what it's worth. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I'm being the superstitious fan, BC's going to blow them out, and it's not even going to be close, and the Riders win. If I'm being the optimist this week, which out of the 3 of us, I absolutely am, I think they show up this week. I really do. I truly believe that, because they have to. If they don't here, then you have a game against Hamilton, which your crowd's not really going to be into, because you've lost 4 straight games and everything's going the same way it was last year, and nobody's going to care. And then you got the one game that matters against the Calgary Stampeders, because really that's the only game the Riders need to win this year
Legit
for the rest
matters.
of the season.
Yeah.
Is that game. But I really think this is the game they show up. They have to. They absolutely have to. The Riders cover, and I'm going to say they win outright.
Wow. All right.
I have no basis behind that whatsoever. They shouldn't, based on, playing the game on paper and with what we've seen lately. The Riders win this game outright.
It's so cute when they still have faith.
I know. It's the hope that kills you.
Listen, I got my new Riders sweater or jacket on
With that
the
sweet
super
CFL logo on it.
sweet CFL logo on it.
Totally authentic. Totally
I
authentic.
picked it up and
Beautiful.
picked it up in Moosomin because I'm smart like that. Thank you, Greg.
Did you get a bucket of chicken too?
Greg? Did you get a? Well,
No, I didn't buy it at Red
Box
Barn.
with
Do you guys
chicken?
need me to bring you home? Do you guys need me to bring you guys chicken while I'm out here?
yeah, you should know this by now.
Okay.
Yeah. Plus, they got 25% off at the store right now, Rider store right now. So the one hoodie that I really want, I think I'm going to go get. So
There you go.
yes, a little bit of hope. I think they
Actually,
win.
I think there's a discount in the Piffles shop right now too. If anyone knows.
Oh, there you go. Piffles,
There you go.
pifflespodcast.com/shop.
Yeah.
Third game of the week, Montreal at Ottawa. Probably Montreal by 5.5.
I don't think it's that much. 3, 4, 4.5.
2.
That's it. Wow.
Ottawa apparently showing up against the Riders. I've apparently thought they can beat Cody Fajardo and Jason Moss.
Give me Montreal to win. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
but yeah, only 2
And
points.
points,
That is
obviously.
that's easy. That's easy a Montreal call.
I'm gonna take Montreal, but not the points. I think they win by 1. Just for
Win
fun.
by
Just for
exactly
fun.
1.
Exactly 1.
Especially you can call it a tie at this point.
No, it's not Calgary.
Yeah. Well, the Stampeders, could they tie this game against Hamilton is the final game of the week. If Hamilton wins this, they basically clinch. I think they clinch a playoff spot if Hamilton wins this, because they put it at that would put them at 7 wins, and then that would pretty much kill any crossover hope, because the 4th place team would have to get 8 wins.
Yeah,
And if Calgary wins out, which obviously if Hamilton wins this one, Calgary won't win out. Calgary would be topped at 7 wins. Yeah, this is it. If Hamilton wins, they clinch a playoff spot. So Calgary and Hamilton, I'm guessing. Jeez, I don't even know. Hamilton by 3.5.
God, they're both so bad though. Yeah. No. 3.5. Yeah, it sounds good.
John Ryan special. She's a 1-point game.
For Hamilton.
Yep.
Yeah, Jake Mayer sucks. Give me Hamilton.
Just to watch the fall continue.
Yeah, Hamilton's going to
give me
win.
Hamilton.
Calgary's out of the playoffs, and everything's right in the world.
it'll be a good week in the CFL. The Riders will win. Calgary will get put like basically out of the playoffs. It'll be awesome.
If the Riders win and Calgary loses, the Riders will basically clinch a playoff spot.
The magic number would be 1,
Yeah.
either a Rider win or 1 Calgary loss the rest of the way in the final 3 weeks.
How delightful. Imagine
And they
being
play
able
each
to
other.
rest your team because they sucked just enough to clinch third. Not fighting for first or a home playoff game, just enough that you're just barely in there, so you can take all those short practices and film room things.
The Craig Dickinson way.
And with that, I think we've been going for quite a while.
Yeah,
This is a longer one.
consider it took us 4 tries to get here. It's a long recording.
The sad part is the one you just watched was our best version.
Yeah.
That's how bad the first 3 were.
Sorry about that, you guys. But anyway, enjoy the games this weekend. Enjoy the Rider game. I think it'll be close. I really, really, really do. And I think the Riders win. God, I feel like Steve saying that.
I was like, when did we switch roles?
How dirty do you feel right now? How dirty do you feel?
Does this mean I have
Me?
to start liking Chris Strevler?
Yeah.
God damn it. I don't want to do that. I'm not ready for that. We can't switch roles. We can't do it. Riders win. I'm taking the Homer roll back.
There you go. Okay, fine. Well, that'll be it for us this week here. We'll be back again next week talking about the Riders win against the BC Lions and looking forward to Legends Night, Thanksgiving weekend. Of course, Piffles podcast is brought to you by our great friends at Dairy Queen on Elphinstone Street and Sass Drive in Regina. Special thank you, as always, to Kathy Festian of Royal LePage Regina Realty and Churchill Brewing Company for their support making the show possible. Thank you to people watching on YouTube, listening anywhere you get your podcasts, watching on SaskTel Max. We appreciate it. This is Ghost Behind Your Mind by Tyler Gilbert.
The ghost behind your